Hey, welcome. Have you ever felt kind of stuck? Like you needed a real playbook for reinventing yourself? Well, if that's you, you're in exactly the right place. Today, we're not just talking theory, we're digging into a concrete, step by step process for a real personal transformation. All right, let's just jump right in with the big one. I want you to really think about this for a second. Is the person you are today the person you need to be to get the life you truly want? Seriously, take a moment. Your answer here, that's the starting line for everything we're about to cover. So just to be clear, this isn't about wishful thinking or some vague, fluffy self-help talk. Nope. What we're doing today is breaking down a practical, step-by-step guide. It's all about execution. We're talking about a set of actions you can literally start using this week to build that next better version of yourself. Okay, section 1. First things first, right? You can't just build a new future on a shaky foundation. You have to know where you're starting from. So our first step is going to be a deep and, yeah, maybe a brutally honest look at who you are right now. And when I say a deep look, I mean it. This isn't something you just casually think about while you're making coffee. The playbook calls for one single focus session. Think 60 to 90 minutes. The whole point is to get everything that's swirling around in your head out and down on paper. We're creating a clear, objective map of who you are right now. So how do you do it? It's actually pretty simple. You'd literally draw a stick figure on a piece of paper and call it current me. And then you start mapping out these different areas. Like, what are your traits? Are you someone who avoids conflict? Do you scroll a lot? What about your habits? How you wake up, work, eat? And your beliefs? Do you tell yourself I'm behind or I'm just not a salesperson? Be super honest here. Remember, no one's going to see this but you. Okay, now this is where it gets really interesting. You're not just making a list. You're basically becoming an archaeologist of your own mind. For every single trait you write down, you ask yourself, where did this even come from? And what past experiences am I still using to define who I am today? Did your beliefs about money come from watching your parents stress out? Are you still letting a failed project from 5 years ago define your capabilities? Understanding the origin story is the key to finally letting it go. All right, so you've done the hard work. You've met your old self. Now it's time for the fun part. It's time to formally say goodbye and start designing the person you actually want to become. This is where you get to be creative and really take control. And this isn't just a case of thinking positively. The playbook suggests a formal closure ritual. It's got 3 steps. First, you write a breakup letter to your old self. You literally thank it for getting you this far, but you make it clear which traits and beliefs you're leaving behind. Then you visualize it. Imagine physically cutting the energetic cord between you and that old identity. And finally, and this is crucial, you set some hard, non-negotiable rules. Yeah, these hard rules are what make the whole thing stick. They're not suggestions, they are non-negotiables that create a clean break. So instead of thinking, I'm broke, you might have a rule that says, no saying I'm broke. Instead, you'd say, I'm currently improving my financial situation. See the difference? It's a small shift in language, but it signals a massive shift in identity. So once you've created that space by releasing the old self, you've got to fill it with something new, right? The very next step is to build a super concrete, one-page vision for your life 12 months from today. And here is the secret sauce. You have to write it in the present tense, as if it has already happened. And this vision needs to be specific, covering these 4 key areas of your life. But look closely at the language here. It's, I run, I consistently keep, I have. It's not I hope to, or I will one day. Why? Because phrasing it this way starts to train your brain to see this new reality as not just possible, but completely inevitable. Think of it this way. The vision is the car, but your core beliefs are the engine that makes it go. You can't create a new reality if you're running on old, busted mental programming. So this means you have to actively choose to replace old beliefs. You swap out money is scarce for money is a tool. You get rid of I'm not a salesperson and install I can learn any skill with enough reps. You're upgrading your internal software. Okay, so you've designed this awesome level 100 version of yourself. That's fantastic. But, a blueprint for a house is useless if you don't actually pick up a hammer and start building. So this next section is all about the daily training, the reps you need to put in to make that new identity your default set. Think of this as your new daily operating system. It's really simple, but it's incredibly powerful. You've got a morning routine to prime your mind for the day. Then, during the day, you have your action blocks, one for deep work and one to push you just a little bit outside your comfort zone. And then an evening review to see what worked and what didn't. See, it's not about making some huge, crazy change overnight. It's about these small, identity-affirming actions done consistently, day in and day out. Now, a really key part of that morning routine is something called identity scripting. And honestly, this is a total game changer. Here's how it works. Every single morning, you just take 5 minutes and you write as if you are already your future self, describing how you crush the day ahead. You're basically creating the movie of your successful day in your mind before it even starts. It's incredibly powerful for priming your brain. But, of course, life is going to happen, right? It's going to test you, stress is going to pop up, setbacks will happen, and they'll try to pull you right back into those old, comfortable patterns. So this final section is all about how to handle those moments, and even better, how to use them as fuel for your growth. And the tool for that is called the trigger drill. The idea here is to completely reframe how you see stress. Instead of seeing a challenge as a problem, you start to see it as a pop quiz from the universe. It's a chance to consciously practice being your new self instead of just automatically reacting as your old self. Okay, let's walk through a super common, super relatable example. Imagine you get a surprise bill in the mail. For the old you, that might trigger an instant wave of anxiety, maybe even a little panic. But now we're going to use the drill. The second you feel that old emotion starting to bubble up, that anxiety, you pause. That pause, that tiny little space, is everything. And in that moment of quiet, you ask yourself this question: how would my level 100 self handle this? How would they think about it? How would they act? You're not asking what you should do, you're tapping into what your most capable, ideal self would do. And this right here is the outcome of that simple drill. The old reaction is emotional, it's passive, it's maybe even a little bit victim-y, but the new reaction, the one guided by your level 100 self, is logical, it's calm, it's proactive. You're not complaining about the bill, you're making a plan to pay it. You're not avoiding it, you're taking one small, immediate action. This is literally how you rewire your brain, one trigger at a time. And finally, to really lock in this new identity and make it permanent, you build in some weekly reinforcement. Think of these as your regular tune-ups. You've got meditation to build your self-awareness so you can catch those triggers. You've got visualization to make that future feel incredibly real and exciting. You've got scripting to add even more detail. And, my favorite, a weekly comfort zone challenge, just to prove to yourself over and over again that you are absolutely becoming this new person. So after breaking all of this down, it really just comes down to one thing: a choice. This whole playbook isn't about some massive, overwhelming life overhaul that has to happen by midnight tonight. Not at all. It starts with a single, small action. So the question for you is, what is one thing, just one, that you can do today that's more in line with your level 100 self than your old one? Because the answer to that question, that's where your transformation really begins.